Sirius Black, to movie fans, he's the misunderstood fugitive, the devoted godfather, the tragic loss. But the truth is, there's so much more to Sirius than what we saw on screen. Behind the shadows of Azkaban and the walls of number 12 Grimmauld Place is the untold story of one of the most complex characters in the wizarding world. Today we're diving deep into the life of Sirius Black. Everything the movies left out. Sirius was born in 1959 into the prestigious Black family, one of the oldest and most notorious pure bloodlines in wizarding history. The Blacks were obsessed with blood purity. They supported Voldemort's ideology long before he rose to power. But from an early age, Sirius rebelled. He openly despised his family's bigotry and beliefs, especially their hatred of Muggle-borns and blood traitors. While his younger brother Regulus conformed, Sirius fought back. He hated being in his childhood home. He described it as cold, dark, and filled with hate. So at the age of 16, he did something unthinkable. He ran away. He left the Black name behind and moved in with the Potters, who took him in as one of their own. In response, his mother permanently burned his name off the family tapestry. At Hogwarts, Sirius was sorted into Gryffindor, an act that shocked his entire family, who had all been in Slytherin. There he formed an unbreakable bond with James Potter, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew. The four became known as the Marauders. What the movies didn't explain is how far they went to support one another. When Sirius and James learned that Remus was a werewolf, they did the impossible. They became unregistered animagi. Sirius transformed into a massive black dog, earning him the nickname Padfoot. It was a dangerous process that took 3 years, but they did it so Remus wouldn't be alone during his monthly transformations. They also created the Marauders map, which displayed the entirety of Hogwarts, including every person inside it. The map was a symbol of their brilliance and mischievous nature, but also their loyalty. After graduation, the Marauders joined the fight against Voldemort as part of the original Order of the Phoenix. Sirius and James in particular were inseparable, often placing themselves directly in danger. But as Voldemort closed in on the Potters, the question became, who would protect them? Originally, Sirius was meant to be their secret keeper, using the Fidelius charm. But thinking he would be too obvious a choice, Sirius convinced the Potters to use Peter Pettigrew instead. It was a move he would regret for the rest of his life. Peter betrayed them. Voldemort found the Potters and murdered them. Sirius arrived at the house moments after the attack, too late to save them. Furious and heartbroken, he hunted down Peter, but Pettigrew faked his death, killed a dozen Muggles in the process, and left behind only a severed finger. Sirius was blamed. Without trial, he was sent to Azkaban. Most prisoners in Azkaban go insane under the effects of the Dementors. But Sirius survived, barely. He stayed sane by clinging to the truth. He hadn't betrayed James and Lily. And crucially, he used his animagus form to resist the Dementors, who couldn't fully sense the thoughts of a dog. For 12 years, Sirius waited. He didn't eat much, he barely spoke, but when he saw a photo of Peter Pettigrew, disguised as Ron Weasley's pet rat, in the Daily Prophet, he made his move. He escaped Azkaban by transforming into Padfoot and slipping through the bars. He became the first person to ever escape the prison. Once free, Sirius's sole focus was Harry, his godson, the last link to his beloved James. But circumstances, cruel as ever, kept them apart. Forced to hide in the very home he despised, Sirius grew restless, reckless even. After escaping, Sirius tried to reconnect with Harry in The Prisoner of Azkaban. The film touched on this, but not how deeply Sirius longed for family. He saw Harry as a son, the last piece of James he had left. Once his name was cleared, Sirius joined the Order again, but he was forced to hide in the very house he hated growing up in, number 12 Grimmauld Place. It was now the Order's headquarters, but for Sirius it was a prison of a different kind. He was restless, angry, and haunted by the ghosts of his past. The ministry still considered him a criminal, and he could rarely leave the house. Even his relationship with Harry was strained at times. He often treated Harry like James, projecting his grief onto him. In the Order of the Phoenix, Sirius finally got the chance to fight. When Harry was lured to the Department of Mysteries, Sirius was among those who came to rescue him. In a battle against the Death Eaters, Sirius fought alongside the Order once more. He duelled Bellatrix Lestrange, his cousin and a Death Eater. In a moment of distraction, she hit him with a curse that sent him falling through the Veil, a mysterious archway that acts as a one-way door to death. What the films don't explain is that no one really knows what lies beyond the Veil. It's one of the deepest mysteries of the department, and Sirius's body was never recovered. His death was sudden, brutal, and tragic, not just because he died, but because he died just as he was beginning to live again. Sirius Black rebel friend, godfather, a man who chose his family, who fought against the darkness both without and within. Sirius left Harry a two-way mirror for communication, one that Harry tragically didn't use until it was too late. Later, Harry would see a glimpse of Sirius's face in it, a bittersweet reminder of what could have been. To Harry, Sirius was more than a godfather. He was a connection to family, to rebellion, to love. He wasn't perfect, he was reckless, impulsive, and damaged, but he was loyal, brave, and willing to sacrifice everything. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more magical tales.